Morning, everyone. SuperDraftSam coming at you for week 7 of NFL football. I'm excited to be just chill on the couch and watch football all day. I'm sure plenty of you are as well. So we're going to run through some value adds or just some picks I think that'll play well today. Maybe some that I'm going to avoid or shade. So hopefully these help you gain some advantage in your super draft picks for today. And wherever else you may be playing, whether it be on your fantasy or dynasty, keeper, you name it, I'm here to help. Alrighty, so let's start. I'm going to start with the players I'm shading today, the guys I want to stay away from. Don't like Jimmy Garoppolo today. Just not a fan of him going up and playing against, Indianapolis's D. I think they'll just they'll go to town on him. Sterling Shepard up against Carolina. There's not a whole lot going for New York these days to whom to pass to. So I think Sterling Shepard will just be shut down by the Carolina defense. Again, the same thing with AJ Green. There are just so many players now to pass to there. I just don't see where the value is in him getting value back. With Hopkins and Watt coming back to Houston, and now that they have Zach Ertz, I just think there are too many players on Arizona to pass to make any sort of difference. So I would stay away from AJ Green this week as well. I would also stay away from Tyson Williams going up against the Cincinnati D. I think it's just this game's going to be an all-out, just chuck the ball as much as you can, see what happens, and hope for the best. But there you go. I'm also shading Alex Collins this week. I don't love him going up against New Orleans D. You could shut down that, they'll shut down that. Sorry, Oakley decided to join me today. Against New Orleans run defense, I think they'll shut down Alex Collins. And the O-line for Seattle is something to be desired. I'm going to stay away. I love tight ends this week. I think if you go tight end and flexing your tight end, I think you're going to actually get some great value there. But one of the tight ends I am shading this week is Evan Ingram. I just don't like anything that's going on there in New York. I'm not buying high on any of those players. I would just stay away from the Giants this week altogether. There's nothing there you want to be involved in. That's all I got to say on that one. So let's go to the players that I like this week and where I think there may be some value for your guys to pick up, or they're just so damn good that you should find a way to add them into your lineup, like a Derrick Henry. He's averaging 110 plus yards a game plus a TD. Can't go wrong there. We also have Matt Ryan this week as the QB I like this week. He's going up against the Miami D, which is a joke. It's a porous defense. They're the ones who allowed Jacksonville to win their game last week. So at 1.4 multiplier, there's some great value at a QB level to lock it in. Again, I'm harping on the same note. I really like Calvin Ridley this week. He's had a bit of a slow year, but I think today is going to be his bounce back game, going up against the porous Miami defense, which is a freaking joke. I think Calvin Ridley's going to go to town and just eat up the Miami D. Again, another player I like this week is Damian Harris. He's going to be an RB1 going up against the New York Jets defense. So there's some value to add there. Mac Jones they're going to utilize the running game to facilitate the passing game. So I think Damian Harris is a good add today, along with J.D. McKissick. Even though Gibson did nothing in Washington, I think J.D. McKissick has a chance to explode today and really show him what he's made of. I like Mike Evans today at a 1.35 multiplier. There is some value there. Antonio Brown's out today, so I really like Mike Evans's upside this week. They're at home, and whenever they're at home, they go to town on whoever comes to town. Like I said, tight ends this week, you cannot go wrong doubling up on tight ends or whatever. There's a lot of value there. Zach Ertz being traded to Arizona. He went from being an RB2 to an RB1. TE2 to a TE1. I think he's at a 1.7 multiplier. Find a way to get him into your lineups to this week. I think you could be very happy about that. Here's some other players that I like, but I don't think won't have as much value. Like I said, Matt Ryan's going at a 1.4 multiplier, so you can go Jalen Hurts this week as well, or Lamar Jackson. Like I said, Lamar Jackson, I think it's just going to be an all-out shootout in Cincinnati, but Lamar Jackson's only at a 1.15 multiplier, so I think maybe going for Matt Ryan or even Jalen Hurts, which gives you a little more value there. So that maybe you can back off and grab a Derrick Henry or something as your running backs this week. Like I said, you can't go wrong with a Derrick Henry. He kills the game. He's averaging 110 yards per week, a touchdown. And honestly, he could go to town and get you 2 to 3 touchdowns. It's just the way he's built and the way he plays. He's just too darn good. It's too hard for everyone to try to stop him. So you cannot go wrong with a Derrick Henry right there. I also like Darrell Henderson. He's at a 1.3 multiplier, but he's been super consistent this season, averaging at least 16 touches per game with an 80 yards per week. And they're going up against the Lions defense this week, which ranks 26 against the run. They're allowing 114 yards per week and allowing at least one rushing score per game to opposing running backs. So there's some value to be had on Darrell Henderson. Another guy I like this week is, I do apologize if I'm not saying the names correctly. That does happen. I do like Chuba Hubbard this week. He's at a 1.65 multiplier, so there's a lot of value to be had there. If you happen to play on like DraftKings or a couple of those other places, he's valued a lot more than SuperDraft values him at. So if we just talk about Carolina, they're trying to get the ball out of Sam Darnold's hand, who's struggled the last 2 weeks. And I think Hubbard's going to be a beneficiary of that, who has seen at least 40 carries. He's seen 40 carries over the last 2 weeks. Hubbard and the Panthers have a favorable matchup going up against the Giants' run defense, which ranks 27th in the league. They're allowing 120 rushing yards per game, and they're allowing up to 4.7 yards per carry. So look at Chuba Hubbard this week. If you're looking for another name to throw in there, I like Joe Mixon this week as well. But those are more my I like Chuba Hubbard this week better than Mixon, let's say. A couple other guys. We spoke about Ridley. He's my go-to guy. A matchup against the Dolphins, which is super favorable. They allowed 225 receiving yards at 15.6 yards per reception and 1.4 touchdown per game to opposing wide receivers. So it's a solid floor. You're getting 1.25 multiplier out of it too. It's value there. AJ Brown, I like this week as well at a 1.4 multiplier. I think there's some value this week because he's been off to a slow start this season. But Julio Jones is still ailing, and I think it's going to be a shootout going out against the Kansas City offense. So I think he returns to form this week. And the Chiefs secondary has not been good this year, allowing 1.4 touchdowns, ranked 25th in the league to opposing wide receivers over the last 5 weeks. So I think AJ Brown has a chance to go off this week like we haven't seen so far this season. So there's some definite value to be had there in that regard. Let's run through a couple more players, and that'll be it for today. Like I say, go to town, get as many tight ends in on your sheets this week. I like Cole Kmet going up against the Buccaneers. The Bears are going to need a safety valve, and I think Kmet's going to be that. The Buccaneers also like to funnel the defense, so they're great up against the wide receivers and running backs, but once it comes down to tight ends, they allow quite a bit of yards and touchdowns. So if you're looking for value there, he's at 1.8 multiplier, so Kmet's a good way to get some value. Or Dallas Goedert in Philly. Like going up against Vegas with Ertz traded away to Arizona. There's no one else left there. So I like Goddard this week as well. So I hope some of you guys found some value in what I had to say today. Do you guys have any questions for me? Anything I can help out with? Let me know. Just slide into my DMs, whether on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Just let me know, and I will try and offer whatever advice I can. I hope you guys found this helpful this week, and we'll look forward to seeing you live.